What is your American dream?
My American dream. Wow. Piece of the pie. Definitely expanding our business, corporation, making it worldwide.
I've experienced so many stories of immigrants coming in, and I want to see everyone have the same opportunity to achieve their dream equally, no matter what demographic background they come from.
My American dream is I hope that one day we can actually live up to our pledge and have liberty and justice for everyone in America. Because America is supposed to be the melting pot and the safe haven for immigrants that migrate over here.
My American dream is for people and animals to come together in unity and peace, honestly.
The whole idea of the American dream is that I have the ability and option to decide what I want my dream to be. And for me, that's what American dream is all about.
Everyone has a right to the American dream. Welcome, everybody. It is Thursday, June 3rd, 2021. I am in the studios at 225 Broadway. This is Bradshaw Live. And out there in the internet world of electronics, and somehow, I don't, TVs and video screens have been around for a very long time. But if you explain to me how you're able to get into my TV or video screen, I have no idea, but there you are every day.
Listen, we have no idea, but we're very thankful for it.
Yeah, I don't know how you get in there every day, how you climb in there, but you're there.
Listen,
Yeah.
a lot of grief.
There's clouds and there's cables and some sort of Wi-Fi thing, people call it.
Yeah.
And
basic things like telephones. I still don't understand how my voice goes from one to the next.
Magic.
Can anyone explain this?
it's the type of thing that you don't even think about anymore, but when you say it aloud like that, it is like,
How does that work, right?
Yeah.
I think we need another Bradshaw Live just for get an engineer on here, and they can explain how all these things work.
right, because we'll need explanations.
Yeah,
If people really want to know.
Yeah, like how does Nesquik get into my TV? And how come I can hear you from Florida?
Right.
I still don't even understand how this airplane thing works. This thing is really heavy. How the heck does it get off the ground? I don't even understand that. It seems very heavy to me to actually lift and get off the ground.
Every time I get on the plane, I think of that same thing, and it's terrifying.
Yeah.
So I don't like thinking about that.
I mean, because I'm much lighter than an airplane. I can't get off the ground, right?
Yeah. That's,
Something-
I just get on the plane and enjoy the ride. I just get on and enjoy the ride.
We got to ask the Wright brothers? Weren't they the ones who?
There's lots of people. You can ask. The Wright brothers. Wright brothers were the first.
Yeah.
But the Wright brothers are dead. We can't ask them unless we want to have a séance. But I am sure there are lots of brilliant people at Boeing, many of whom are immigrants, who know exactly how an airplane gets off the air. But let's say hello to our squad. By the way, guys, how are you today? I was just thinking of things I don't know the answers to. I know a lot of immigration. That's about it. How are you guys doing?
I'm here. Thursdays are my crazy days. So
Really?
I literally am doing show to show, and I took off one show and jumped into this one. So we here.
You're here. And Vanessa, you're jumping from TV to TV as well?
That was me yesterday.
That was you.
Today,
I see. So
just-
Wednesday's Vanessa's crazy day.
Thursdays are
Thursday
always
is
fun.
yo crazy day.
But let me say one thing. This always makes it better. coming with y'all.
You know, that's why we call it Wacky Thursday, Yo-Yo. We don't call it We don't call it Wacky Thursday for no reason.
There you go.
Let's say hello to the squad. Sasha Ford, squad up. How are you? Violet Blackwood, squad up. Denise Johnson Green, squad up. How are you? Pepe Samuel saying hi, Brad. Squad up. Dawn Harriet, what's going on? Violet Blackwood, squad up. Jessica Levy joining us. Elizabeth Darley. Abadoon Jamo, squad up, everybody. Lisa Bling, how are you? Stacey Ann, squad up. Carol Anderson, the Tiger, squad up. Chetty Mandori is watching. We see you. How are you? Marcia McCullough, how are you? I said Dawn Harriet already. How are you? I said Lisa Bling Rose. Kelly Williams, squad up. Maureen McFarland, squad up. Paulette Jeffers, we see you watching as well. And Willie L. Williams is always joining us. So is Nina God Pickney, Elizabeth Francis, squad up. Carol Lord, Candy K, and Yolanda Steele. Whew! Gotta take a breath there. Let's go over to YouTube. Westman, number 1. I commented yesterday that he wasn't number 1. He made sure he was number 1 today. Denise Johnson, John Love, how are you? The Fords family, squad up, everybody. Vanessa Contreras, also known as Nesquik. Vanessa and Yo-Yo, are you ready for Poetry Thursday? I see the rhyme. Are you ready? I don't hear Nesquik and Yo-Yo, but I'm sure they're ready at some point. There they are. All right, Poetry Thursday. Well, and this is from Jay Rhymes. Well, what do you know? It's time for Brad's show. Shout out to Brad, Vanessa, and Yo-Yo. Way to go. Well, what do you know? It's time for Brad's show. Shout out to Brad, Vanessa, and Yo-Yo. Way to go.
Oh,
I like it.
Is there more?
No, that's it. Way to go. I like it. You're not loving it. You see, I like it this time. You don't like it, Vanessa.
No, and he was so great the other time, and you didn't like it. And I just feel like he usually wraps up with a little bit more of a pizzazz.
Why don't you read it, and maybe if you read it, it sounds better to you. Do you see it? Do you see it on YouTube?
Oh, here we go. Poetry Thursday.
Yeah.
Well, do you know it's time for Brad's show? Shout out to Brad, Vanessa, and Yo-Yo. Way to go. Okay, it's cute.
It's O-O-O-O.
Yeah, you're right. When you see it, it
doesn't sound right when you see it, but when you read it, it rolls off the tongue. It rolls off the tongue. So I say thumbs up. Thumbs up to Jay Rhymes. Leo Rock, how are you? And Kimberly Burris, squad up. Yo-Yo and Vanessa, why don't you take it away? And while I get ready to schmooze.
Okie doke, we will. I am just Yo-Yo's having some technical difficulties.
I think
will be right back.
I think Yo-Yo burnt all his wires from being on. There he is. From being live for too long.
Right. Exactly. So are we on me?
We're on you now.
Yeah, we're on you.
That's where we're up to.
Awesome. Came right on time then. Okay, squad. Y'all, please remember to please share it. This is the way we can get the show out to everybody. We're about to start schmoozing with Brad, talking headlines and immigration news, including a New York Times report stating the Biden administration plans to make it easier for people to move to the U.S. We love to hear that.
Oh, yes. And it's Thursday, squad, so we'll be talking wacky world news stories, including a politician in Japan who is fighting to keep his mask on indefinitely.
And by the way, everybody always wants to know, how do you get on our show? How do you call Brad? How do you call Spar and Bernstein? How do you call Brad Show Live? To get on our show, Ask Me a Question Live, which is going to happen right after our schmooze. Well, you're going to see Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson run right across your screen right now with a big sign that says, "Ask me your immigration questions," except it's my head on Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's body. So it's really me, but not my body. Ask me your immigration questions. Brad Show Live, 1-800-529-5465. That is the number to call in the United States and in North America. Outside of North America, if the 1-800 number doesn't work for you, you call +1 212 227-8933. You're going to see that number scroll along the bottom of your screen the entire show. And later in the show, after we answer your immigration questions, after we schmooze, after we go to social media check-in to see what everybody's issues and problems are, I am going to be speaking with Mary Green. She is the Entertainment Projects Editor for People magazine, about being adopted as an infant from South Korea by an American family, and that is what saved her life, her immigration story as a baby. But with that, guys, you ready to start schmoozing?
Absolutely. Let's do it.
Let's do it. So on Monday, the New York Times reported that President Joe Biden wants to make moving to the United States easier. I'll see it when I believe it. Now, according to a 46-page government document, the Biden administration wants to make our legal immigration system easier. The draft document outlined plans to undo lots of Trump regulations, also to make forms easier, make the process easier, and do a lot of the applications online. I have seen, as in my career as an immigration lawyer for over 30 years, the government always saying they're going to make it easier. And every time the government says they're going to make it easier, you know what happens?
What?
They make it harder.
It gets harder.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
So I don't know.
Every single time?
I can't imagine. I don't remember one time they made it easier. In 30 years, they've always made it harder and harder every year, no matter what they say.
I have high hopes for 2021 in this administration.
You have more faith in this.
I have faith in it because remember, we even talked about it during the debate. This was the first time the number one issue was, I think, wasn't it immigration? And we had talked about that. We were like, oh, usually in the debates, they're not. So hopefully they actually, say what they mean what they say.
I am, by the way, there is no person in the world who's more in favor of easier than harder than me. Okay, because I have worked very hard to get people visas for 30 years. I'd like to have an easy year every so often. Okay, so nobody wants it more than I do. Of course, my clients as well. Now, according to the New York Times, the document said the Biden administration plans to revamp both many of the programs, the H-1B program, which is your skilled worker program, your temporary skilled worker program. They're going to revamp the U visa program. The U visa are people who were the victims of crimes. And they are also going to overhaul both asylum and skilled worker labor applications. So we'll see how that actually works out. I hope it does. We'll see what happens. Let's get to coronavirus. Mayor de Blasio, he said yesterday, the mayor of New York City, congratulations to New York City. The COVID rate in New York City has dropped to the lowest level since they started keeping statistics on March 1st, 2020. We are at the lowest level since the pandemic began. De Blasio said that the city's positivity levels have plunged more than 95% since the start of 2021, with COVID hospitalizations also down 69%. And what they are measuring is the percentage of people who took a COVID test and how many were positive. And in the last 7 days, less than 1% of people who took a COVID test, the PCR where they stick the thing up your nose, less than 1%, 0.81%, which is 0.0081%. Less than 1% of people who got thing up their nose positive in the last 7 days in New York City. And New York City is very crowded, by the way. It's not like we're on farmland out here, where everybody's social distancing. Everybody's on top of each other. Now, he stresses that this is all due to the vaccination efforts in all 5 boroughs, which has seen 8,373,820 shots injected into the arms of New Yorkers. More than half of New York City's population is fully vaccinated. More than 50% has already had the second shot. Tomorrow, the city's going to begin providing vaccine to public schools in the Bronx that will eventually expand citywide to vaccinate all children between the ages of 12 and 17 years. The city also is bringing mobile vaccination buses to popular nightlife destinations across the city. Now, I don't know if that's a smart idea, because nightlife destinations to me equals alcohol and sometimes illicit drugs, and then we're going to start giving injections of vaccine.
Wait, so say one more time. The night
They're going to have
a
mobile vaccination van bus go to popular nightlife destinations all over New York City on June 2nd and 3rd. These buses are going to be located right outside the club.
Wow, so that means
as you stumble out at 3, 4 in the morning, because the clubs are open now till 3, 4 in the morning in New York, I think, as of this week. As you stumble out of the club, drunk, perhaps on drugs, who knows what goes on in these clubs anymore.
I was going to say,
I'm too old to remember. I don't remember what happened. All right, I remember a little bit. And I don't know if that's smart to be like, all right, 4 in the morning, go.
I don't think
that's smart. I don't think that's a smart idea.
Yeah.
But I liked everything up until that one.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Yeah, the fact that you have to sit in the doctor's office for 15 minutes after you get your shot, that right there kind of tells me I don't think you should be mixing that with alcohol and drugs.
Yeah, I'm not buying that one. Yeah, I'm not in favor of the bus, but I liked everything I read up to that point.
Same.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, so now that was a pretty stupid idea, sending a bus out to a club to give people injections when they stumble out at 4 in the morning. By the way, this idea is even dumber. In West Virginia, if they're giving that, like in Ohio we talked about, and even in New York and California, they're doing lotteries. If you take a vaccination. Do you know what you win in the lottery in West Virginia? They're doing a lottery in West Virginia if you take a vaccination this week. You know what you win? A gun.
Oh, wow.
You take a vaccination and you get put in a lottery to win a gun or a truck. You get a truck or a gun.
Someone had put in the comments maybe like a few days ago, and it was like, I just can't believe that people need to be rewarded in order to stay safe.
Yes, but you know what? I will reward people to make everybody safe. Okay, I guess I understand from 20,000 feet up in the air, looking at the big picture. You shouldn't have to reward anybody, but the reality is everybody makes decisions in life on reward and punishment. What's the pain and what's the reward of doing something? So every decision you make in life, whether it's you walk across the street, you get up to go to work in the morning, because a lot of times people don't want to get up to go to work in the morning. What's the pain of, you don't get a paycheck and now you can't pay your rent, so everything is reward and punishment in life. Every decision you make, you got. Please. So, I had a lot in my ear, and I'm like, I can't talk with a lot of my ear.
Especially when people didn't really want to, majority of people didn't really want to get the vaccine, including myself,
Right.
Although I didn't do it for the reward. My reward is being able to see my family. So, like you said, we all do it for a certain reason.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you got to reward somebody to, give them that extra push to do it, yes, you're right, Vanessa. You shouldn't have to, but that's human nature, I think.
Yeah.
So people in West Virginia, they love their guns. If you want to give them a gun,
give them guns.
You know what?
That's horrible.
Take a shot so you don't kill somebody with COVID, but get a gun. You can kill them with a gun. Horrible, right? Meanwhile, I don't know if you saw that Dr. Anthony Fauci had all of his emails published as a result of a Freedom of Information Act request by BuzzFeed. So this is not a situation where the Russians hacked Fauci's email. This was done through Freedom of Information Act request, where you can request government records. And Fauci wrote in some of his emails, "This is a White House in full overdrive. I'm in the middle of it." He said that on a February 2nd email, reminiscent of post-anthrax days. 2 days later, responding to a journalist, he wrote, "I'm really tired, not much sleep these days." Now, Fauci even responded to notes of supporting questions for medical advice from strangers. One person wrote back to him, "Oh my God, I honestly never expected you to reply, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart." But these emails are also very contentious because House Republican Whip Steve Scalise, he's a Republican from Louisiana, and House Oversight Committee ranking member James Comer sent a letter to top Democrats on the committee saying that Fauci's emails debunk many Democrats' claims from the past year, including that he and other scientists were muzzled by the Trump administration. They also, the Republicans are claiming that Fauci had said in February and March, masks don't work in emails. It only protects somebody, it only protects the unmasked person from getting COVID, from you giving it to someone else, but it doesn't protect you from getting COVID. That's what he said in an email in February and March. And then the Republicans are now saying also in some of the emails that he was being thanked by some people in emails, in private emails, for not mentioning that there's a possibility that COVID started from the Wuhan lab instead of naturally. So, Fauci has denied many of this. He says, when John Berman said to him, "There are some of your critics who say this shows you have too cozy of a relationship with the people behind the Wuhan lab research. What do you say to that?" Fauci responded, "All of this is nonsense. I don't even see how they get that from these emails." He then emphasized that the email was sent to him and the origins of the coronavirus is still uncertain. The email in question was sent to him where somebody said, "Thank you for not mentioning that it's a possibility that it came from the Wuhan lab." And Fauci did not say anything in response to that. He said something to the effect of "you're welcome" or something like that. But he didn't say whether it did or it didn't. He was just being polite and responding to emails. So he said just because he responded to an email doesn't mean that's what he believed. Now, the other thing that people are seeing, and I see it a lot on Instagram now, is that a lot of people are saying that Fauci said the masks don't work. It doesn't work to protect you. And then all of a sudden, everyone had to wear a mask to protect themselves. And my opinion is this, nobody knew what coronavirus was in March.
That's what I was going to say.
Okay.
That's what I was going to say.
Nobody, it's irrelevant what he said in March because science is dynamic. I think that's a good word. They learn, it's dynamic, and what they think one day, they could think something else another. So just because he said in March it doesn't work, and he said in June it does work, it's because science says it.
Yeah, and science takes time, so he had to test this to see if it worked. But people will always point.
So Fauci is now in the crosshairs of the Republicans. He is persona non grata by the Republicans. They're using Fauci basically for political purposes. They want to say he's the one who caused all of these problems with people having to stay home. He's the one who caused all these problems with businesses having to close. He's the one who caused all these problems with restaurants having to close. And he was all full of it from the beginning. And the reality is, my opinion is, I think he's a good-hearted man. He really was trying to save lives, and he was telling people what he knew at that moment.
I believe so as well. I agree with you.
And it was a very tough position for him to be in. Okay, he's not a politician. He didn't agree to get elected. He's a scientist at a government facility, and he got thrown in the limelight.
Yeah.
So I kind of feel bad for him in a way, because he's being used now politically, and he's not really a politician.
Yeah.
So
seeing things on Instagram already.
Yeah. So
that's how I'm pretty sure we'll talk about this on the show today.
Yeah. So Republicans are asking for his head. They want him fired. He lied. He said masks don't work. He said in an email, "You see, we got you. Fauci, and then he didn't respond to one email where a guy said, thanks for not mentioning it came from a Wuhan lab. And I think he responded something else, but he didn't actually reply to the guy's email. So they say, you see, he knew it. He knew it came from Wuhan lab, and he didn't say anything. So I feel bad for the guy. Meanwhile, here's some good news, Vanessa, boss lady. You ready for some boss lady news?
Yeah, let me hear it.
This is some good boss lady news. All right, listen up. Forbes reported that in the year 2021, the number of women, boss ladies, running businesses in the Fortune 500, the Fortune 500 is the 500 largest companies in the United States, has hit an all-time record. 41 women are running one of five of the top 500 biggest companies in the United States of America. And for the first time, 2 black women are running Fortune 500 businesses. Roz Brewer, who's running the number 16 largest business in the United States, Walgreens, Boots Alliance, and Thasunda Brown, I hope I'm pronouncing her name right, Thasunda Brown Duckett, who is running the 79th largest business in the United States of America, TIAA. TIAA is the Teachers Insurance and Annuity Association of America College Retirement Equity Fund. It's a hedge fund. And another executive is making history at the helm as the highest ranking business ever run by a female CEO, and that is Karen Lynch. She is running the 4th largest company in America, which is CVS Health. Would you believe that? Wow. CVS, because they also own Aetna. They own pharmacies, they own medical insurance, they own a lot, CVS.
That's amazing.
Now, the 67-year-old, it's a new world. It is a new world. What do you have to say, Vanessa, about all this?
Beyonce said it best. Who runs the world? Girls. All right. I want to get some heart emojis in the chat, all my ladies watching the show. Boss babes.
Now, meanwhile, Pumpkin, he shut down his blog. He started a blog a month ago because he got shut out of Twitter and Facebook, but he shut it down after a month. You want to know why?
Why?
Nobody was paying attention to it.
No way.
Yes.
That I'm actually surprised about.
Yes, he started a blog. It was called From the Desk of Donald J. Trump, and he was giving his ideas and thoughts in this blog for 1 month.
And no one cared.
Nobody cared, and of course, if nobody cared, his ego was hurt. So he shut it down, and he said, it was just supposed to be temporary anyway. I was planning on shutting it down after a month. He goes, that was the plan the whole time.
That's wild for him to even, give up.
Yeah. Isn't that funny?
But he did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me see if if we have a quote from him. So he didn't even say anything about it. It was his senior aide, Jason Miller, who said it was just auxiliary to the broader efforts we have and are working on, hoping to have more information on the broader efforts soon. Blah, 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 blah. Meaning, basically, and if you remember about a month ago, he said, big things are coming. Big things are coming. I don't need Facebook. I don't need Twitter. He thought he'd make a blog. It was like a $500 website, It just said From the Desk of Donald J. Trump, and it was just a blog of him writing. Nobody cared. Nobody read it. No.
I'm surprised.
Yeah.
With the amount of people that voted for him, I thought that he would at least get some kind of traction.
Well, one of the things he weighed in on his blog was the issue of Medina Spirit. Medina Spirit was the winning horse in the Kentucky Derby. He wrote on his blog, now remember the Kentucky Derby horse had steroids in his system, and they didn't know whether or not they should disqualify this horse. Well, he wrote in his blog, so now even our Kentucky Derby winner, Medina Spirit, is a junkie. This is the only thing that got press. He continued, this is emblematic of what is happening to our country. The whole world is laughing at us as we go to hell on our borders, our fake presidential election and everywhere else, and even the horse is a junkie.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
But you want to know what? Medina Spirit just actually tested positive a second time for the steroids. So it is now believed that because this horse tested twice for steroids, that it will be disqualified. It hasn't been official yet, but they believe it's going to be disqualified from the Kentucky Derby. And it's a big deal for the owner and the trainer. It's millions and millions of dollars on the line.
Dang.
And their reputation. All right, you ready to travel around the world for some wacky world news?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right, so we're going to start, I don't know where this is, but we're going to start somewhere. Asparagus is known to be a traditional side dish, Yo-Yo and Vanessa. You're familiar with asparagus. Yes. Do you like asparagus? Oh, this is in Belgium. You hate asparagus. I love asparagus.
I like asparagus.
I like asparagus too. Okay.
When it's made right.
Okay, now, in Belgium, they have these law books, and in these law books, everybody goes to find out what the law is. Now, a local commercial lawyer by the name of Morgan Mahler was surprised when he opened up his law books to find the cooking instructions buried amongst medical product pricing laws in the French language version of the Montier Belge, which is the legal database to access papers, legislation, and royal decrees. This is where all of the laws are. And in the middle of these books and databases where all the laws are was a recipe to make asparagus. So Mahler tweeted about his observation on Friday with a video of the mistake, receiving thousands of videos. Do we have the video? No video. Let me tell you what's on that video. A colleague mentioned it to me, so I went to the site to check and immediately saw the error. The real problem here was that if something appears on the official gazette, it is by default accessible to anyone with an internet connection. Whatever information is contained on that is supposed to be true and accurate because third parties could use it as a source for their legal argument. So this is where they go to for their legal arguments. And when he opened up this database, he found a 6-step recipe to cooking asparagus, which is preheat the oven to 250 in a large volume of water with 3 teaspoons of salt. Cook the rinsed and peeled asparagus in a saucepan. Bring the cream and tomato paste to a boil. Butter a gratin dish. Lower your oven to 230 and bon appetit. And you know what this shows you? What? This is the funniest thing that happens to a lawyer around the world. Lawyers ain't that funny.
Right. I think funnier things will probably happen.
I think lawyers are pretty. I'm reading this. I'm like, lawyers just not funny, man. Lawyers are just not funny. If this is what cracks up a lawyer, I'm funny. But if this is what cracks up lawyers, an asparagus recipe in a law book, this is what cracks up lawyers. This is what's making around in the law firms around the world. The asparagus.
We don't want to be at that law firm.
Yeah. Oh, let's open up the law. Oh, look, it's an asparagus recipe. That's what's cracking up the lawyers around the world, man. Lawyers don't have any sense of humor. That's the funniest thing they could come up with, the lawyers.
Tune into Brad's show live.
Yeah.
Fix their sense of humor.
Yeah, I mean, I'm reading this asparagus. I'm like, okay, where's the humor? I mean, just making lawyers look really stuffy.
Oh.
All right, so here's a good. He's an Italian artist by the name of Salvatore Garau. I've called Salvatore Garau in the most positive terms, maybe a con artist instead of an artist. Let me tell you why. This Italian, and I'm saying this all in the kindest way. Italian artist Salvatore Garau recently sold a sculpture for 15,000 euros, which is the equivalent of $18,300. Problem is, Jonathan and Vanessa, it's invisible.
What?
It's an invisible.
What?
It's an invisible sculpture. You just have to imagine it's there.
No.
You know what this reminds me of?
You just, yeah, and I'm like, no, come on, man.
Brad, what comes to mind? Can you think of it? A story we talked about years ago.
Invisible?
I think it was that Art Basel, the banana.
Oh, the banana. This is worse than the banana. You're right.
Oh my God, they have the actual.
Wow, Julia the TriCaster guy is on it.
Dude, you're crazy.
Yeah,
this is my head.
This is worse than the banana. At least the banana you can see.
Wow. Where was this again, Brad? Where was this?
I don't know. I got to keep reading. According to As.com, the sculpture's initial price was set between 6,000 and 9,000 euros. However, the price was raised after several bids came in. People were fighting for the invisible sculpture.
Ridiculous.
The sculpture, which is titled Lo Sono, which is Italian for I am, is quote, immaterial, according to the 67-year-old artist, meaning the sculpture does not really exist. Though he's received much critique for the sale, Guru argues that his work of art isn't nothing, but it's instead a vacuum. He sold a vacuum, basically nothing. He told As.com, let's see what the artist said. I mean, this is ridiculous. The vacuum is nothing more than a space full of energy, and even if we empty it and there is nothing left, according to Heisenberg uncertainty principle, that nothing has a weight. Therefore, it has energy that is condensed and transformed into particles, that is, unto us. Now he titles himself an Italian artist, Salvatore Guru. Jonathan and Vanessa, would you agree or disagree? Con artist, Salvatore Guru, or Italian artist, or Italian con artist?
Listen, he's not a con artist if he got away with people fighting to buy it. I mean, they see it for themselves. So it's not like he's saying, I got art here and they're fighting for it, and then after they pay, he leaves. Like, they see they're arguing off of nothing. Just like the banana. Remember? That went for like $120,000 at Art Basel.
The other thing I have to say is, you know what this all goes to show? Rich people don't know what the hell to do with their money.
And they just got so much money, they don't know what to do with it. That's it.
Rich people don't know what the hell to do with their money, Vanessa.
It's crazy.
Literally.
Let me ask you a question. You have 18 grand in your pocket to burn. You got 24 hours to spend it. What do you do with your $18,000? You got to spend it in 24 hours. What do you do, Vanessa?
I'm definitely investing.
You're investing
I need to duplicate. Yeah, of course.
What are you doing, Jonathan?
I'm either investing or buying equipment, because I'm about to start shooting a series. So if I buy like the highest equipment, I could start renting it out after as well.
Okay.
And use it for myself and have to ask for money.
I will donate it because I can't handle the pressure of what I'm supposed to do with it in 24 hours.
What?
Yes. I will donate.
I was about
to
to say, like, buy a ticket and just like prepay a bunch of like.
I will donate it to a worthy cause, which is better than what these dummies who bought it.
Definitely would be.
Now, according.
Look at you. He made us answer first so he can top us off better. He's like.
Well, guess what? Well, if you get that $18,000, I still have that series. I'll still be shooting.
Now, that's true. Now, Vanessa, I will allow you to change your mind if you want. Do you want to still invest? You're sticking with the investment. Wow. Vanessa's like Bitcoin all the way, right? Bitcoin all the way.
Definitely
Bitcoin all the way.
Definitely not.
Now, according to Italy 24 News, Guru instructed that the sculpture must be displayed in a private home, free from any obstruction, in an area that is 5 feet long by 5 feet wide, because the piece does not exist. There's no special lighting or climate requirements. The only thing the buyer gets is a certificate of authentication that is signed and stamped by the artist that says, quote, created. That is the craziest thing I've ever heard in my life.
It's wacky world.
That is wacky world news for sure.
Wacky.
Meanwhile, a professional wrestler elected to the Municipal Assembly of Southwestern Japan City intends to sue the city council for damages on the grounds of discrimination against his occupation by not allowing him to wear his wrestling mask in the chamber committee room. Skull Reaper. He is the Skull Reaper. He's a professional wrestler. He goes by the name Skull Reaper. Is known only as assemblyman in the southwestern Japanese region of Kyushu. He won the city's assembly seat in 2013 election for the first time and secured a third term in February. But he is now being forced to take off his mask in the chamber. It's like, what like famous professional wrestler wore a mask that you didn't know who he was? You know, it's like he's a professional wrestler. Now they're forcing him to take off his mask and show his identity. The Undertaker, right.
There was a lot. That was a lot.
What is it? Wait, Julian gave me one. Keen? Kane? K-A-N-E.
Kane.
Yes.
Kane. That's who it was.
Yeah.
It was Undertaker's brother.
Yeah.
Kane.
But it was Kane.
Undertaker's brother.
Now,
not Undertaker. It was Kane. There you go.
Now, according to the Skull Reaper, he says it is suicidal act for a masked wrestler to show his real face in public. I've been discriminated against due to my occupation and have been harassed for 8 years. Now, he is suing for damages and also asked the Oita District Court for an injunction allowing photos of him in his mask to be published on the City Council's website and its newsletters on the grounds that not doing so discriminates against his occupation. He is refusing to take off the mask. Do you want your government worker to be a masked wrestler, or do you want to see what he looks like?
I want to see what he looks like.
Yeah, I need to see a face.
I don't know. Sure. I think it's kind of cool that the masked guy is representing the local council. I say let him keep his mask on. I think it's great. All right. We have 2 left, Vanessa. This is because you're looking at it opposite, okay? Do you want the one that's under my pocket square or the one that is under the schmoozing with Brad?
I'm going with the pocket
schmoozing
square.
Or this? Which one is pocket? Wait, go back because I'm looking backwards. This is pocket square. Got it. All right.
Pocket.
Just so you know, the squad. I look at everything backwards, so sometimes it's confusing. Only because that's how the video comes back at me. All right. Apparently, there's a Russian man who joined a boy band competition show on Chinese TV on a whim, but quickly regretted his decision and was finally released from his ordeal. Vladislav Ivanov, a 27-year-old part-time model from Vladivostok. I know where Vladivostok is, believe it or not. It's right on the border of North Korea. It was working on the show Produce Camp 2021 as a translator when producers reportedly noticed his good looks and asked him to sign up as a contestant. Ivanov told the program he'd been asked if I'd like to try a new life and agreed, but quickly came to regret his decision. Unable to leave on his own without breaching his contract and paying a fine, he begged viewers to send him home every week. He says, "I want off this show," but they wouldn't vote him off. They kept voting him back on because he was begging to be off.
That's hilarious.
By the way, that's a great thing, Yo-Yo. If you ever do a new show, just say, "Listen, I want off the show. Viewers, please just vote me off," and everybody would keep you on. They would keep you on.
Right.
You'd be like, "I just want off. I just want off," and he kept getting voted on.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So the program concept, let's see what this program was, which originated in Korea, pits young performers against each other to train and eventually form an 11-member international boy band chosen by a voting public. Ivanov and his fellow contestants were sequestered in dorm rooms on Hainan Island, and their phones were confiscated. Using the stage name Lelouch, Ivanov told viewers, "Don't love me, you'll get no results," and repeatedly pleaded with people not to vote for him. His first song was a half-hearted Russian rap in stark contrast to the high pop of his competitors. He says, "Please don't make me go to the finals. I'm tired. I want off." And he was purposely making the worst songs. And he was singing terribly off key just to get voted off. But everyone knew he wanted off, so they kept voting him on.
So that is hilarious.
Yes. Is that funny?
It makes me want to watch the show.
Yeah, the South China Morning Post
went down. Take notes.
The South China Morning Post reported him saying, "I hope the judges won't support me while the others want to give me an A. I want to get an F. F stands for freedom."
Yo, he's hilarious. He's funny.
But his pleas went unanswered. A fan base which is taking to his grumpy anti-celebrity persona urged others to vote for him and let him 996 in reference to China digital industry culture of chronic overwork, 9 to 9, 6 days a week. They were forcing him. Did you know about that? 996.
Nope.
9 to 9 every day, 6 days a week.
It makes sense why he wants to be free.
Yes. They want that. And all of the people who are watching were like, "Nope, let him 996.
Yikes.
Others celebrated him as an icon of Sang culture, a Chinese millennial concept of having a defeatist attitude toward life. After making it to the finals, Ivanov grumpily ate a lemon on camera and said he hoped people would not support him again. I'm not kidding. He was eating lemons before he went to sing.
Yo, he's literally trying to do any and everything to, like...
He's famous now because of it. He's famous because of it. Well, he was eventually voted off on the final episode. I'm finally getting off work, he posted on his Weibo account. A Weibo hashtag related to his departure was viewed more than 180 million times.
Wow.
And reposted more than 59,000 times, including the Russian embassy from China congratulating him and asking him to have a good rest.
That's hilarious.
Is that the funniest story you ever heard in your life?
That's hilarious.
I think the best thing is he ate a lemon before he had to sing. That was a good one. That was a good one.
That was a good one.
That was a good
great
one
to end off.
That was a very good one. I wasn't getting it when I first read it. I'm like, oh, this is not wacky, but it was very wacky.
No, it is. That was hilarious.
All right, so that's our wacky news, guys. On Thursday, we got to get into our Braducation. In today's Braducation, I discussed stop and frisk, also known as the Terry stop, and when the frisk in stop and frisk, otherwise known as the pat down, comes into play. Let's watch. My goal is straightforward, to make the law usable and easy to understand for everyone. All of us in the United States have equal rights and should have an equal opportunity and a right to justice. I'm here to help because I want everybody to achieve their American dream. I'm Brad Bernstein, and this is your decriminalization Braducation. My objective is to make the law easy for you to understand so that you can use the justice system, know your rights, take advantage of the law, and achieve your American dream. Stop and frisk, known as the Terry stop. When walking down the street, what do you do when a cop stops you? And when can a cop frisk you? Now, the first thing you need to know is that a police officer can stop you on the street and ask you questions in furtherance of their policing duties. Now, when does the pat, which is the frisk, in the stop and frisk, come into play? The police can only pat you down or frisk you when they think you are armed and dangerous, or they believe you are in the middle of an armed and dangerous crime. And this, folks, is where the stop and frisk is often abused by the police. If you are stopped for suspected criminal activity that is not weapon-related or dangerous, such as public disturbance, drug possession, subway fare evasion, then the stop in the stop and frisk would hold up in court, but not the frisk. Even if the cop did find something illegal on you during the stop and frisk, it may not hold up in court if they did not have the right to frisk you in the first place. Moreover, if an officer legally pats you down and feels an object in your pocket or under your clothing, it must be apparent to the officer that what he or she is feeling is a possible weapon before the officer can remove it. An officer cannot manipulate an object for some long period of time to figure out what it is. There are even cases where if an officer can tell a pocketed object is drugs, the officer cannot remove that object as contraband. The purpose of a frisk is only to find weapons. And you can watch all of our Braducations by following us on OnlyFans.tv. I'm the first lawyer for sure on OnlyFans. I'm one of the few guys who keeps their clothes on OnlyFans. But you can watch all our OnlyFans Braducations. It's absolutely free. I don't make 1 penny from it. I just give it away because we like to. Right? Right. All right, let's go to immigration questions. You got a question? I've got an answer for you. And we do have a couple of lines open, so if you call right now, you will get your immigration questions Asked and answered. Let's go to Andrea in Indianapolis. Andrea.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. I'm calling on behalf of my husband. He called you yesterday, and they had sent him a notice of rejection because the payment amount.
Yes, I remember, and he didn't file an I-130.
Yeah, so we did everything that you asked. You told us to get the form I-130 for me and the form we did all that.
Great.
So my question is for the forms that we already had, the I-485 and the I-765 and the I-864, can we use those same forms?
Yes.
Or do we okay, we can?
Yeah, you don't have to redo them.
Okay. That was my only question. Thank you so much.
All right, good luck.
Thanks.
All right, let's go to Mohammed in Los Angeles. Mohammed.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good,
Thank you for your show. It's very helpful.
My pleasure.
So, Brad, I have a question about my case. I had my naturalization early January in Los Angeles, and the interview was pretty quick and it was very smooth. It has been done very smoothly, and the officer told me I want to approve you, but I didn't receive your file yet. So it's gonna take like 2 to 3 weeks.
I hope it's only 2 to 3 weeks.
But it's almost 5 months.
Yeah, I was about to say I would say that you have a better shot at hitting the lottery than immigration transferring a file in 2 to 3 weeks. Immigration takes months and months and months to transfer a file. What I would do is this. I mean, I assume you are 100% clean to become a citizen. Is that correct, Mohammed?
Yeah.
Okay. So what I would do is I would either do a pre-litigation mandamus or literally do it or a pre-litigation de novo review, or do both actually, which is you put a lawsuit together and we file it. You can't do it. You would have a lawyer do it. You file it with the local immigration officer, the head of the immigration service, and the head of the litigation unit. And you tell them it's been more than 120 days by law and a naturalization application. You have 120 days to make a decision, or I get to go into federal court and have a federal judge decide this case. And generally on cases that are 100% smooth, 100% approvable, no skeletons in the closet, they find your file very, very fast. Other than that, you could be waiting forever. And it's funny, I was about to say to you before you finished, I said, good luck in 3 weeks. That's not going to happen. And you already told me 5 months after. So that's the answer is you got 2 choices in life. You got 3 choices in life. Okay? Choice 1 is do nothing. That doesn't get you anywhere. Choice 2 is you can make inquiries. Your lawyer can make inquiries. You can go to your congressman or senator to make inquiries, your local council member to make inquiries, all the politicians you know in the world to make an inquiry with immigration. And all you will get in return is a letter saying, we're working on your case. Why do I know that? Because I've been doing this for 30 years. I know exactly what they do. All right? Doesn't matter who asks, whether it's your lawyer, I do it, another lawyer does it, your senator does it. You're from California. Senator Feinstein calls immigration on your behalf. They'll move when they feel like it. The only thing that puts a fire, excuse my language, that puts a fire under their ass to get them to move is the threat of litigation. That's it.
Perfect. So who should I contact?
Me.
At your office?
You contact me. Hold on. We'll tell you how. Let's go to Elise in Philadelphia. Elise.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. Brad, I have a little question. You see, my I-485 was denied. And I want to find out if what they say I have to...
Do you know why it was denied?
Yes.
Why was it denied?
What happened is my biometrics. I missed my first biometrics appointment, and I requested a second one, and I did it and went I went and did the second biometrics. Now they're saying that the denial is based on the first one I did not show up for.
All right, so this is just a procedural issue. Who's sponsoring you?
My husband.
All right, you have two choices. Okay? Well, you got three choices, but two out of three stink. But I'll tell you all three choices. Okay? One is you could do nothing, just like I told the other person. I mean, that's always a choice. Do nothing. And nothing will happen for you, or you can be put in deportation, one or the other. You don't want that.
Yeah, that's not
a good option.
Denial letter is very strong.
Okay, hear me out. I'm gonna tell you how to fix it. Okay?
Yeah.
All right. So one is you do nothing, and either you live your life undocumented for the rest of your life, or they look to put you in deportation eventually, and you get deported. That's not a very good option. Okay? Second option is you make a motion to reopen your case. And you have to do that within 30 days of the decision. And you say, immigration, you screwed up, not me. Here's proof that I did my biometric, and I did it. They accepted it. How are you now saying I didn't do it? So you're wrong, not me. Reopen my case and process it.
Okay.
Now, in the realm of life, that's the most logical thing to do, because they're wrong, you're right. The problem with doing motions to reopen are two. One, they are historically slow to look at them. While they are historically slow to look at them, you cannot renew your work permit, you cannot renew your travel document.
You're
out of status. And number two, making a motion to reopen does not prevent immigration from putting you in deportation anyway.
Okay.
So they're slow in reviewing. You can't renew your work permit, and you still potentially could be put in deportation without a pending adjustment application. So to me, I don't love doing it that way, although in reality, that is what you're supposed to be doing. What I like to do, what I advise my clients is, it's unfortunate this happened. It's not your fault, but let's not cut your nose to spite your face. And my advice is always refile it again, even though you shouldn't have to, because that way you're assured to get your work permit. You're assured to get your travel document. You're assured that if you're put in removal, you can go to a judge and say, I got an adjustment application pending. You can't do nothing to me. And number four, you know that there is a starting process and an ending process. Your case is on the conveyor belt to get a green card. When you do a motion to reopen, they have all the time in the world to look at it. Sometimes it takes them a year or longer, 2 years sometimes, to look at motions to reopen, and you wait that whole time. And of course, there's never a guarantee they reopen it anyway. And now you wasted all this time for nothing. So although the fairest thing and the appropriate thing is to do the motion to reopen, in reality, the right thing to do to move your case forward is, unfortunately, you got to suck it up a little bit, refile again. And that's my advice. And also, by the way, if you refile through an attorney, both yourself and your attorney will get the biometric notice, so this way you don't miss it next time.
Okay.
So that's my advice.
I was thinking of you, Brad.
Okay. All right, so hold on one second if you need help, all right? Hold on. Let's go to Rose in Arlington, Texas. Rose.
Hi, good afternoon,
Hi,
Brad.
how are you?
Good, thank you. Question. My husband, who's a citizen of Mexico, entered with a B1, B2 tourist visa. We got married after deportation proceedings began. I'm a U.S. citizen. He was arrested for DUI and was transferred to immigration and released on bond and given a notice to appear for an overstay.
Okay.
His DUI case has not yet come up for trial, so he's not convicted yet of the DUI. We did, however, apply for the I-130, and it was just approved, and we have an upcoming master hearing. So what type of pardons are available or waivers, if any, in this type of case?
I have one question for you. You said you got married before he got put in removal, right?
No, we got married after he got put on removal.
So you requested what's called a bona fide marriage exemption, correct?
Correct. I went ahead and added the affidavit for that, which approved that one I-30.
Okay, so two things. I would file an adjustment application with immigration so you can get it going. They're going to transfer it to the immigration judge anyway. Number two, you don't necessarily need a waiver right now because he hasn't been convicted of any crime. All he has is overstay on his visa, and you don't need a waiver for that if you're married to a U.S. citizen. The issue you're going to have is you can't get an adjustment application approved until there's a resolution on his DUI case. DUI, under the rules, is not inadmissible, but it does lend evidence towards bad moral character. You have to prove good moral character to adjust your status. So all else remaining equal, let's assume in a few months he gets found guilty of DUI. It's not inadmissible. It is one bad day of bad moral character. If you can show good moral character on all your other days and you had one bad day, you'll still get a green card. So he doesn't need a waiver. What I would be doing is preparing an adjustment application. If your master calendar is coming up in a couple weeks, I wouldn't even bother filing with USCIS. Just wait to see the judge at the master calendar and say you want to file the adjustment with the judge, and that'll actually be a faster process. If your master calendar is like a year away, file an adjustment now so at least you can start that process. Either way, if he's found guilty of DUI or not, he's just going to have to show good moral character, but he won't need a waiver.
Got it. So it wouldn't matter if there's a plea agreement on the local level for a dismissal or just a complete dismissal, because that's what we're working on.
It is much better to have a dismissal, obviously. Okay. You don't want a criminal record for any reason.
Correct.
So dismissal is optimal. What I'm saying to you is the worst case scenario is he's found guilty of what he's charged with, a DUI. One DUI, which is different than a DWI, is not inadmissible. You do have a moral character issue. Whether or not he's found guilty or not, obviously being found not guilty, less of a moral character issue than being found guilty.
Got it. Thank you so much, Brad, for your everything you do for everybody. Thank you.
Perfect. Good luck with it.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Okay. Let's go to Dev in Fremont, California. Dev.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Yeah. Can you able to listen to me?
What? I don't hear a word you're saying. You speak
Hello?
up. Speak up.
Yeah.
Louder.
Yeah. I'm Brad.
Louder.
How are you?
Good, but just talk louder so I can hear you.
Yeah. I have 3 questions for you.
Now I hear you.
Yeah. Good afternoon. How are you?
What's the question? I got you. What's the question?
Okay. I have 3 questions. Like my wife makes like 24,000. Is it fine, or I need to find a co-sponsor?
Do you have other people in your family?
Yes, I have a friend. Like
no. You have children.
No, we don't.
All right. So let's look at what the poverty guidelines are for 2021. The poverty guidelines for 2021 for a family of 2 in the United States is 17,420. 133% above the poverty level is 23,169. You got to be 125% above the poverty level. So 24 just makes it.
Okay. So, when you have to look for another sponsor. Is it fine?
You just make it right at the skin of your teeth. Just because you're that close, I don't want you to screw up. Get a second affidavit of support. But if you can't get one, you should still pass.
Okay. So my co-sponsor, they make joint taxes. So which one I need to take?
The joint tax return and the husband and wife both have. The husband signs an I-864, or whoever. It could be the husband or wife. It doesn't matter who. One signs an I-864, and the other spouse signs the I-864A.
Okay. And one more question. I have my credit card payment, which is went into collection. So is there any problem with that?
Your green card payment went into collection?
No, my credit card payment, yeah.
Your credit card payment went into collection? No. You owing money on a credit card has no bearing on your immigration case. Under the old Trump poverty guidelines, yes. Under the ones that Biden put in, which goes back to Clinton era, you're fine. They just look at your tax returns.
Oh, okay.
All
Okay.
right?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to Rodney in Brooklyn. Rodney.
Hi, Brad.
Hi, how are you?
I'm okay. I have 2 questions.
Yes.
So my husband and I are preparing the documents for interview later this month, and one of the required documents was birth certificate for children within the marriage and custody papers for children that are not living with us. We have 1 2-year-old son within the marriage, but my husband has 3 other children that are not living with us, but there are no custody papers. So what should we bring?
Just a letter from the mother saying the children reside with me.
From the mother saying what?
The children reside with me, and the father's a good father. Period. 1 sentence.
Oh.
You don't need custody papers. Why are they asking for that?
It's just one of the requirements listed under like about 15 required stuff that we're to take in. That's just one of the bullet points.
I think that you just got a form letter. I don't think it has anything to do with your particular marriage case.
Oh, so there's letters from each parent.
Your husband is sponsoring you?
Just me, yeah.
His children have nothing to do with where they're living other than if there's an issue with affidavit of support. Because on an affidavit of support, you have to say where the children live. You know, how many children you have to support.
And it was just the one that we have, the 2-year-old. That's the only one that's on our tax too.
I understand that, but he has other children to support that don't live in the household, which is maybe why they're asking.
No, he doesn't.
He does not support any of these children.
Well, he does, but they don't live here.
I understand that. So you get a letter from, on the affidavit of support on the I-864, it says children who live full-time, or you're partially dependent or fully dependent. These children are partially dependent.
They're partially.
Yeah. You need have a consultation so we can review exactly what needs to be filled out on an I-864 and what you need to bring in. Okay? Because I think what they're doing is they're asking questions about how many people have to be supported by your husband.
So the affidavit of support that we submitted prior to
may be correct or may not. Hold on 1 second. Let's go to Jeeve in Sacramento, California. Jeeve.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
Okay. My question is that I applied for VAWA in, November 2020, and I got the receipt notice in December 9th, 2020.
Right.
And it's been like almost 6 months. I have not received anything from the immigration. I have submitted all the necessary documents, case reports, psychology reports.
Did you file just an I-360 or an I-360 and an adjustment?
I filed the EAD, I-485.
You did all that.
And the travel author. Yeah, I did all that.
And you got receipts for everything.
Yes.
All right, they're a little backed up. You should be. Did you take a biometric?
No, I have not
yet?
received anything, nothing.
Okay.
I'm little worried.
But also California's been shut down for a while. So in California, you guys have been shut down because of COVID, and when you shut down, they weren't taking biometrics. So I would assume California is more backed up than many of the other states. I actually sent a letter also to Vermont Service Center. Yeah.
And I called them and they said to send a letter.
What I would suggest, that's fine. You can what you making inquiries don't really do much for you. It just makes you feel better that you did something. What I would do is this. I as long as you have the receipts, you should be okay. The only thing I would do is call the 1-800 number or look online to make sure they didn't schedule a biometric for you and you missed it. Other than that, just wait another month or two. It's been 6 months. If when Labor Day is the first Monday of September, so we're now June, July, another 8 weeks. If you still haven't heard anything in 8 weeks, then give me a call and let me get involved. But I would assume that sometime over the summer you're going to hear about all of them. You're going to hear from them.
Okay. That's really a relief. Thank you so much. You're doing great.
Okay, thank you.
I have to say that.
Thank you very much. All right, good luck.
Bye.
Let's go to Michelle in Brooklyn. Michelle.
Hello, good night.
Hi, Michelle. How are you?
I'm fine. Hi, Brad. I'm calling concerning the consultation I had with you on Monday.
Michelle, I don't remember, but if you had a consultation with me on Monday, why don't we talk about it off air? It's still free to talk to me. Okay, you don't need to call me on the show. You can have another consultation with me. It's free for another week. Hold on 1 second, all right? All right. Yeah, if you had a consultation with me, why would you ruin the attorney-client privilege and then call me on the show? That makes no sense. Call back to our office. It's free. You have a consultation with me. You have more questions. It's free for another week. Let's go to Shigun in Brooklyn. Shigun. Hi, Shigun. Shigun. Shigun.
Hello?
On. Hi, how are you?
Yeah, good. Yeah, a quick question. I had my interview precisely November 18, 2019. But up to now, I've had nothing.
An interview for what? You had an interview for what?
I-485.
Who sponsored you? Your wife?
Yeah.
Okay. And where are you from?
I'm from Nigeria.
And was what happened at the interview? You and your wife, did they give you a hard time? Was it an easy interview, a long interview? What did they do at this interview?
Actually, it went smoothly because we have a lawyer just sitting at our back.
Okay.
Everything went smoothly. Yeah.
Is there anything in your background? I like to use the word skeletons. You have anything in your background that you would think that they would need to investigate?
I don't think anything. I don't.
You don't think so?
Anything.
Okay. Were you married before, or is this your first marriage?
Yeah, I was married back home.
Okay. Is your divorce from back home?
Yeah.
Aha! That's it. They don't believe any Nigerian divorce is real. So they literally have boots on the ground in Nigeria going to the courts to verify whether or not the divorce that you submitted is real or you're in a bigamous marriage. And sometimes it takes them 2-3 years before they get back to you. Are you and your wife in a real marriage? Bona fide.
Yeah,
you live with her. Okay.
Yeah, we live together.
As long as you're confident that divorce is real, I would be doing a pre-litigation mandamus at this point.
Okay.
But I know why you're delayed now. They're checking your divorce. Okay, hold on if you need help. Sean in Tampa, Florida.
Hi, how are you, Brad?
How you doing?
I'm great, thank you. My quick question is, basically I filed for my husband and my daughter basically for a change of status.
Mm-hmm.
And that was basically on April the 3rd. I got the confirmation from the USPS stating that the lockbox that it went to in Illinois, Chicago, was basically on April the 13th, and we have not gotten a receipt of confirmation for nothing. Like, it's been this whole time, so I'm not sure what to do, what's going on. I don't know.
Okay, so you talk fast, and I lost the dates in my head as you were talking.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I'm a fast talker too, so sometimes it's late for me. I've been doing this all day, so sometimes I lose the dates as you're going along.
I understand.
My question to you is this. You filed when? Back in April, you said?
Yes, it was April the 3rd when we basically filed, the paperwork, and then pretty much when we sent it off.
You said you got a notice back from the lockbox. What did you get back?
No, we haven't gotten any type of notice of receipt or
How
anything.
Do you know that it was received?
It was a tracking, basically, when I sent the package off through the USPS office, it was a tracking number attached. So,
all right, so
I'm only following the tracking number.
You're only about 6-7 weeks into this now, right?
Pretty much, yes.
Okay. All right. They're taking 8 to 10 weeks to cash checks and process applications. My expectation is that sometime in June, you will have received something. Your checks or money orders will be cashed. If July 4th rolls around, and by the way, also, the post office, I have to tell you, stinks on ice these days. Okay? Even in my office, okay, my huge office, we have over 70 employees. For 2 days in a row, the post office says no mail for a law office. I never heard of such a thing.
Wow.
How does a big law office like us have no mail for 2 days? I said, there must be 1,000 letters for Spar and Bernstein sitting in the post office in downtown Manhattan. So, also the post office is very slow too. So, give it till July 4th. If you haven't heard anything, call back our show.
Okay, no problem. Thank
All
you
right,
so
you're
much,
welcome.
Brad. I appreciate your help.
Okay. Let's go to Raza in Houston, Texas. Raza.
Hello, Mr. Brad.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing good, sir. Long time fan of your show. Last
you.
time we talked, I think it was in 2014.
Oh my gosh.
But I have a quick.
Yes.
Yes,
right.
sir.
All right. You're talking long term.
Yes. I'm a long time fan. I just liked listening to your show.
Thank you.
So my question is, we did I-751 for my wife on January 6th of 2020, and the last status showing online is December 6th. Case is ready for interview.
Great.
Scheduling interview, and we have not heard anything since then. It's been like 16 months altogether, I would say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're taking about 20 months right now, start to finish with these. So just because it says ready for interview, what that means is they don't need anything else from you. They just don't have a person to interview you. So ready for interview doesn't mean immediate interview. It just means your case is all set. It's just very slow. Eventually, you'll get an interview.
Okay, so do they interview for these things?
Yes.
Or is it just,
No, it's not. They really interview for these things. They want to make sure that you and your spouse are in a bona fide marriage. They take it very seriously, these interviews.
Yes. Yeah. We have a couple of kids together.
Oh, so then
and
you'll be
home
fine.
and everything.
So if you have a couple of kids in a home together, my advice is file her citizenship.
Yes, sir. That was actually my next question. If we can do that,
yes.
Because
if you're past the 3-year mark already, you have children, you have a home together. There's no question this is a real marriage. File her citizenship.
Okay. Yeah, that was actually the main question I was calling on. Okay.
All right.
So sounds good, sir.
All
Thank
right.
you so
Good
much.
luck. Okay.
All right. You have a good day. Bye bye.
Let's go to Abiola in Newark.
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm good. Good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah. I have two questions.
Yes.
Yeah. I got my 2 years green card in 2019, November 15, and me and my wife we divorced in 2020, March 2020, on the 20th of March, and now my green card is going to due this November.
Right.
And I want to file for my 10 years.
Right.
And we already divorced.
Right.
So is it going to be any problem for me?
As long as you're allowed to get divorced. Nobody says you have to stay in an unhappy marriage to keep your green card. All you have to prove, you're going to file the I-751 on your own without your wife. You're going to request what's called a waiver of the requirement to file a joint application. And you can request that waiver if you are divorced. So you're going to submit your divorce. You're going to submit proof that for a period of time, you and your wife lived together in a bona fide marriage through the time you got your green card and sometime thereafter, and things just didn't work out. They're going to interview you on your own. When you file this application, they are going to send you an extension for your green card. So there's never going to be a day you don't have a green card. So when you say, is this a problem? My answer to you is it is not a problem. As long as you can prove you're divorced and it was a real marriage, you're going to be a green card holder for life.
Okay, what I'm saying was that because in 2019 we have our interview in August and they delay before they send the green card in November. So it takes 5 months. After then, on November they send the green card. So after 5 months of it, that's when we divorce.
Again, as long as, you have a very short marriage, but as long as you can prove, the facts are the facts. So you don't have choices here. You got to deal with the facts as we find them. Okay? So we can't change facts. You have a short marriage. Okay? Short marriage doesn't mean it's not a real marriage. It's just, harder to prove it was a real marriage, but that doesn't mean it's not real. If this marriage was real, and in your head it's real, then the facts will play itself out as this is a real marriage and you got divorced. We'll prove it.
Okay.
All right? Hold on. Let's go to Debbie in Monroe, New Jersey. Debbie.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Hello, attorney.
Hi, Debbie.
Yeah, I received the, what is this? Change of status? Adjustment of status, that's what they call it. We received it like May 2015, year 2015.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and is it time now to file for adjustment of status?
You just said you adjusted your status in May of 2015. What'd you do in May of 2015?
Yeah, but it's I cannot hear you so much.
Debbie, put the phone closer to your ear. Everybody else has heard me.
Hello?
Debbie, what did you do in May of 2015?
Yeah, because I'm your client.
Debbie, listen
Yeah.
to me. All right, because we're having two different conversations. What did you do in May? You got your green card in May of 2015?
No, we did not. We don't have green card.
What?
We have received only the approval notice for adjustment of status.
Debbie, you don't know what you're saying. If you got an approval notice for adjustment of status, you are a lawful resident. What did you get in May of 2015?
The I-797, what is this?
I don't know what this is. I'm not looking at it. Hold on. And especially if you're my client, there's no reason for us to take guesses on our live show.
Yeah, because we emailed Marina Brakefield before.
Debbie, hold on, Debbie, hold on. Let's go to Mohammed in the Bronx. Mohammed.
How you doing?
Mohammed, how are you?
Yeah, good. How are you doing,
Good.
Brian?
Good.
Yeah, Brian, my problem is that 2016, I seek an asylum. I was in detention where the judge denied me. When she denied me, I went for appeal, and then BIA denied for the appeal.
Okay, so you've been ordered deported. Mohammed.
Hello?
Yes, Mohammed, you've been ordered deported.
Yes.
All right, you were in deportation. You lost. The BIA denied your appeal. You're still here in the Bronx.
Yes.
When did this happen?
He happened when they asked me for the what do you call it, for the deportation. Well, they said that I should come for the removal. They sent me a letter.
Mohammed, I understand this. You were ordered deported by a judge. You said the BIA denied your appeal, correct?
Yes.
So when did this happen is my question.
Okay, the judge denied me 2016.
And the BIA denied you when?
BIA denied me 2018.
So you've had a final order of deportation for 3 years. Why were you in deportation? Why were they wanting to deport you? Do you have a green card? Or were you
No,
out?
I don't have.
You had no green card.
Anything.
Where are you originally from? Where are you originally from?
Yeah, I'm from Ghana.
Okay. And how long have you been in the United States?
That was since 2015. That is.
How did they get you?
Yes.
How did they catch you? Immigration.
No. They didn't catch me. I came through the border. I submitted myself to.
For asylum.
It's for asylum. Yes.
Okay. So your question to me is what now?
Yeah, the question is, if I get married, I can get green card?
Possible. It sounds like you're an arriving alien, that you submitted yourself at the border. You're an arriving alien. You applied for asylum. You were denied. The BIA denied it, but you're still considered an arriving alien. So as an arriving alien, if you get married, you can adjust your status without going back to the judge and file a waiver. So the answer is, it sounds like it based on what you told me, but until I actually see your file, I can't be certain.
Okay. So I can get married to adjust my status.
I said it sounds like it.
Okay.
Don't put words in my mouth. I said sounds like it based on what you told me. Without me seeing your file, I can't be certain. But it sounds like to me that you're an arriving alien. And as an arriving alien, you can file an adjustment application and a waiver for a bona fide marriage and prove hardship to your spouse to get a green card. So my answer to you is, based on what you told me, it appears there is a process for you to go through to get a green card with a waiver. That doesn't mean you will get a green card, and it doesn't mean for sure you can do it without me actually seeing your papers to confirm you're an arriving alien.
Okay, so how can you help me?
I need to see you, your papers, your application that you filed, your entire file with immigration. Hold on one second. All right. By the way, if you didn't get your immigration questions answered, or you're, first of all, if you're my client, don't bother calling the show. Call my office and speak to me personally. But if you didn't get your immigration questions answered, you can always follow me at Real Brad Bernstein. If you follow me at Real Brad Bernstein on Instagram, you can always drop me a DM and talk to me privately, and I'll be happy to answer your immigration questions. You can also follow us at Brad Show Live. If you follow us at Brad Show Live, as I say, you can't handle 2 hours of us, but you can handle 30 seconds. Place to be is Instagram at Brad Show Live. And of course, follow us now on TikTok for all of our speed rounds, very quick immigration questions. People love TikTok. It's our fastest growing social media platform, Brad Show Live on TikTok. And Jonathan and Vanessa.
Yep, you guys can follow me at Jonathan Elias TV on Instagram.
And you guys can find me at Vanessa.ContrerasTV.
And later in the show, we're going to speak with Mary Green, the entertainment projects editor of People magazine. We're going to talk to her about her adoption as an infant from South Korea by an American family, and that changed her life. We're also going to get into our social media check-in. If you ask your immigration questions in social media right now, you may get them answered by me in about 60 seconds. So drop your questions on our social media feeds, both on YouTube and Facebook. But, Jonathan.
Yes, but first, now Joe L. DeBosque Jr., president of DeBosque Farms in Los Baños, California, is going to tell us the #1 change he would like to see in U.S. immigration reform. Now, squad, what would you like to see? We're going to be checking in the comments.
What is the #1 change you want to see in U.S. immigration reform?
Well, I think that most farmers really appreciate their workers. They're hardworking people. They're members of our communities. They have kids. They're just like us. They have families. They have needs and so forth. And they're very productive people. Now, obviously, there's some criminal elements, just like in any society. And I think any farmer and even any legitimate farm worker would say, get rid of those people. Our workers don't want these criminals here. They just as well get them kicked out. So the hardworking people, the people who have been part of our communities, you know, we have to do something about incorporating them into our communities.
I agree wholeheartedly. All right, let's go to social media check-in.
All right, our first one comes from the VIP squad. Okay, so remember, the first 5 that we'll read every day are from the VIP squad. It's super easy to join it. You don't have to pay. Just go on Facebook and type in Brad Squad and you will see the VIP page. You have to request to join it. We'll accept every single one of you. And the best thing that we do is we'll put a post up and say the first 5 questions we will put and we will answer, or the first 5 questions you guys type under that post, we'll put up on the show and answer before any of the social media check-ins. So Ann Ross, or Ann Rose, for the first one, how long after completing my biometrics should I get my work permit? It's a marriage-based application and it's been more than 114 days since I've done my biometrics. 2 weeks after I did the biometrics, I checked my online account and it said that the case is ready to be scheduled for an interview and that USCIS is actively reviewing the children's application.
You're supposed to be getting a work permit within 90 days of filing your adjustment application, and it's not happening for the last 2 years. What I've seen lately is it's about 6 months from the time you file.
Christina Shanix, another Brad Squad VIP member. How long will it take for me to get my visa interview in Guatemala after my documents are approved by the National Visa Center?
hopefully soon, but because of COVID, who knows? I mean, again, if you're all completed at the National Visa Center and presuming you're an immediate relative or your priority date is current, in pre-COVID times, it was 8 to 12 weeks. Post-COVID, it's country by country. Are the embassies open? What's happening with COVID in your particular country? How much staffing is at that U.S. embassy? How backlogged are they? It could be anywhere from 3 months to a year and a half at this point, or longer.
Okay, Fearless Michelle, Brad Squad VIP member. My friend filed her I-751 to remove the conditions on her green card, which expired July 25th, 2018. Now, in December 2019, my friend finally got her extension letter for 18 months, 1 year after filing for it. Does this mean that the 18 months began 7/25/2018 or on 12/17/2019? She traveled outside the country in December 2020 and now is stuck outside, and USCIS is telling her that she left with the U.S. without proper travel documents.
I'm confused. Can you say that one more time?
So I think these are two. I think these are two different questions.
Read it again, please.
Okay, I think these are two different questions. So let me do the first one. My friend filed her I-751 to remove the condition on her green card, which expired July 25th, 2018. In December 2019, my friend finally got her extension letter for 18 months, 1 year after filing for it. Does this mean that the 18 months started July 25th when it expired, or December 17th, 2019?
It's 18 months from the date that the notice is the notice is dated. So they date the notice, and on the notice it says your green card is extended 18 months. So it's from the date on the notice. What's the second part?
Okay, and the second part is she traveled outside the country in December 2020 and now is stuck outside. And USCIS is telling her she left the U.S. without proper travel documents. She doesn't have a green card, and the extension expired.
She needs to go to the U.S. Embassy in whatever country she's in. She's still a lawful resident of the United States, and apply for an SB1 visa to return to the United States with proof that she was not abandoning her residence. She needs help.
Ansha Hippolyte, another Brad Squad VIP member. How long does someone have to wait for the next process after receiving an approval letter this week? American citizen daughter filed for her mom abroad in February of 2020.
Did she get the I-130 approval, she said?
She said, yep, received an approval letter this week.
So then you should be getting a notice from the National Visa Center. If your daughter's under 21, you should be getting a notice from the National Visa Center in 8 to 12 weeks to pay a fee bill. If your daughter's over 21, it depends on what your priority date is.
Okay, Leo Rock, another Brad Squad VIP member. If an undocumented person got arrested for driving without a license, speeding, and a few other charges, but that case was disposed of and the person got bail, paid a fine, and was given a year probation, does that affect their immigration process? The I-130 was processing where the spouse filed for the individual and they were actively reviewing the case. So will the person get a work permit? The person pleaded to a first offender order in court.
Most likely, it sounds like it's a petty offense. They didn't go to jail. It was a misdemeanor, right?
Yeah, I mean, it said that the person got bail, paid a fine, and just was given probation for a year.
I don't know what, okay, so then I don't know what the conviction was for. Yes, it's going to prevent that person from getting a work permit, possibly. I would need to know more about that conviction.
No, I'm not a cat.
I apologize. But when you have convictions, they many times will not issue you a work permit.
No, I'm not a catfish on Instagram. My husband and I did our Stokes interview and we didn't do well. At the end of our interview, the officer suggested I submit an updated medical. Would they still need a medical if my husband intends to deny?
No, if they intend to deny, you wouldn't need a medical. So asking for an updated medical may be a positive thing.
Candy K on Facebook. I applied for U.S. citizenship and received an email from USCIS saying the application is processing and being reviewed. If I have yet to receive anything physical from them in mail, should I be worried?
No.
Karan Deep Singh on YouTube. I got my work permit, the physical card on May 10th, but I have yet to receive my social security number. What should I do?
Call Social Security.
Erica Brown on YouTube. My husband's I-485 is currently processing. We also submitted an application for advanced parole. We want to know if granted advanced parole, does that allow him to safely travel back to his home country of Jamaica? Or does he need to go to the UK first and use his UK passport?
No, he can go to any country he wants as long as he's allowed in that particular country. Don't stay out for more than 4 weeks. He can go to Mexico if he's allowed in Mexico. He can go to Bahamas. He can go to any country he wants as long as they allow him in. The advanced parole allows you back into the United States. My advice is always don't stay out for more than 4 weeks at a time.
Ashari Music on YouTube. How long does USCIS take to receive civil documents?
To receive civil documents?
To review.
Oh, to review civil documents? They could take a week. They could take a month. They can take a year. They can take 10 years. I don't know anything about your case and what civil documents you're referring to.
PS on YouTube, does income from unemployment insurance benefits count towards the annual earned income for the purpose of the I-864 form?
Yes.
Alarms show on YouTube. Can my family and I still apply for asylum after overstaying on a B1, B2 visa for 2 years?
Only if there's changed circumstances in your particular country. So in other words, you have to file for asylum within 1 year of your entry into America or forever hold your peace. If you're going to file for asylum after 1 year, you have to say something changed that didn't exist when I first came that now makes me need to file for asylum that I didn't need to before.
Lenz Roosevelt Lambert on YouTube. If my asylum case has been pending since June 2015, do I have to close that pending asylum case if I want to apply for TPS now?
No, not necessarily.
Okay, Rowan Care Nar on YouTube. My VAWA approved in 2019 and I filed for my I-485 in 2019 at the Vermont Service Center. I haven't heard anything yet from USCIS. I filed to renew my work permit 3 months ago and I have yet to hear back regarding that matter either. What do I do?
Who's filing for who?
He just said my a VAWA case, but he didn't mention.
Okay, all right. So it's a VAWA case, and he hasn't heard from immigration in how long?
2019.
It's taking over 2 years to file to get decisions from VAWA. So if you haven't heard anything by the end of the year, then you would start thinking about a mandamus. All right, 2 more.
Okay. Delvic David on YouTube. Is my thing going slow?
Your thing's going slow.
Yeah, but we
can.
Okay,
it's one of those days. It's one of those days. It's okay.
Yeah. Delvic David on YouTube. If I'm in Mexico City right now and I have a tourist visa and I want to seek asylum in the U.S., can I leave Mexico to do so?
You can go to the border and seek asylum. All right, because they don't have remain in Mexico anymore.
And last one, Brad, Suzik Mac on YouTube. My daughter sent in a VAWA in November and they asked for a character references. She sent it in February, but she didn't receive a prima facie. What does that mean?
It means that she did not submit all of the documentation required on a minimum to get her VAWA approved. So you'll wait on an RFE then. That's what it means. All right, so Mary Green is the entertainment projects editor of People magazine. Her story of being adopted as an infant from South Korea by an American family was featured in the magazine in a piece titled "Coming to America Saved My Life, a People editor's immigration story." Mary joined me to discuss her journey to the United States and how it has affected her entire path. Let's watch. So this is a true American dream story. We're going to be talking with Mary Green. She was adopted as an infant from Seoul, Korea in 1969 by parents in Mason City, Iowa. Mary is now the entertainment editor of People magazine and was featured in the magazine in a piece titled "Coming to America Saved My Life, a People editor's immigration story." Mary took time out of her very busy schedule to join us today to discuss her personal immigration journey. Welcome, Mary. How are you? And thank you for coming on our show. I really appreciate your time.
Hi, thank you very much. It's great.
So you had quite an American dream story. I mean, your life by just happenstance could have changed completely different. You may not even be alive today, let alone living a completely different life. And here you are, a successful woman here in the United States of America. Tell us the story, Mary. Let's get right into this. Tell us the story. How did you come to America? What happened?
Sure, absolutely. Well, in 1969, in October, to be specific, my parents, adoptive parents, had already been approved and were going through the process to adopt a Korean infant, which back in 1969 was still very progressive.
And these are Caucasian Americans in Iowa.
Absolutely. I was found shortly, a couple of days after birth. It was actually in the doorway of an abandoned building. And someone heard me. I was apparently blessed with incredibly strong lungs.
Thank God.
And, absolutely. They called the police and they took me to the hospital where I remained for a few months. I was very tiny and very sick.
So apparently you were birthed at home or in an apartment, but certainly not in a hospital, and you were left and abandoned, and you don't even know how long you were abandoned in that hallway, but thank God you were found, and and then you ended up being hospitalized for months. Is that correct?
Absolutely. In fact, by the time my parents adopted me in October, I was 9 months old. I only weighed 12 pounds.
Did your parents know they were getting a sick Korean baby? What was going through their minds in terms of picking you? Do you know?
I asked them that several times, and really the only thing they said to me was, we always knew we had more love to give. And rather than having more biological kids, the 4 oldest are biological, they had biologically, they decided to adopt. And they heard about the need for children to be adopted from South Korea. And, so they decided to embark on that. They didn't really specify whether the child should be healthy or not. I just ended up coming down with a severe staph infection, and the orphanages and with being overrun, they didn't have the medical care to give to me. So I was actually rushed in the final weeks to the United States so that I could get proper medical care.
Thank God for your parents. Listening to not only, being discovered in a hallway and then being sick with a staph infection and not having treatment options in South Korea, being rushed to the United States with weeks. I mean, you were on edge your first probably year and a half of whether you would even make it and be alive. And, I wonder how that makes you feel as you live your life now, knowing that you were given, by God or by your parents or whatever you may believe in, the second and third lease on life.
I've always grown up very thankful, very grateful for having all the opportunity I've had. And granted, I came to the United States when I was only 9 months old, so I didn't really know any differently, but I was always acutely aware of how fortunate I was. And I don't know why, but I've just always had this feeling then that things would be okay. Oh, yes, that's me the day I became a citizen.
So how was it growing up in Iowa? I guess you were not only being the only Asian child in the family, you may have been the only Asian child on the block or in the whole town, for all I know, in 1969. How did that make you feel knowing you looked different?
There were times when it was challenging, in the 70s, growing up in a relatively small town in Iowa. There were certainly incidents of racism, and it can be challenging. You just don't see people who look like you, so you don't necessarily have the same kinds of role models. But having said that, I will say that the choices my parents made with their friends and certainly with my family, I was very fortunate in having people who cared. Around me. And then I remember when I was growing up, among my friend group, they stopped seeing you as Korean or as being any different because I was just Mary. So I think that also is a great lesson for people. They gradually, they do see you for you. And so I was always very, very fortunate. I also grew up being acclimated completely to Caucasian culture, so I was very comfortable. And to this day, I'm very comfortable in traditional,
Probably more so than Korean culture, I would assume.
Yeah, I think the first time, in fact, really, it was on assignment for People magazine, was the first time I really got to explore parts of the Korean American culture.
How'd you get to People magazine?
A few years after I graduated from college, I actually decided to move to Chicago, and while I was there, I started calling around to media outlets. People magazine actually let me come in off the street, and I started to read through newspapers, suggest stories, and when I was in there, I said, I will do anything you need. And at the time, serendipitously, they needed some assistant help. And
so doing anything means starting on the bottom.
Oh yeah, I cleaned offices. I made Christmas cards.
Right. I mean, right. That's the bottom. You start at entry level.
Absolutely. And basically, I just stayed, and gradually they set me on an assignment and everything, and I got hired on full staff, moved to New York, and since then have just worked my way up and had this amazingly fortunate career.
What exactly do you do there for People magazine now? You've worked your way up through years and years of work. Tell us exactly, what does a entertainment project editor do?
Sure. Basically, if during award season, let's say we're going to put together a portfolio of the Oscar nominees, that would fall under my purview. So we do a lot of special programs and things where we will go to the Toronto Film Festival, and we'll have a studio there for video and photography, etc. We'll have like hundreds of celebrities come in, and that would fall under my purview.
So you get to meet a lot of cool people, right? So what's like the coolest people you've met?
One would be Oprah.
Oh, that's bad. I mean, that's right up there, right?
And then some of the TV stars like Mandy Moore just had the upfronts, where the TV networks announced their new shows for the fall.
That's really cool. You have a very cool job. You get to meet all these cool people. How did your story end up in People magazine?
Well, actually, the day that the travel ban was first initiated or first signed into executive order, I wrote a post on my Facebook page just telling my story, which I had never done before. I was offended by the travel ban. If we're going to start to come together, we need to see each other as people and not just as a religion or a region of the world. People started to read it, and one of the editors asked me, said, "Wow, I just saw this. Will you write a personal piece for us?" And I said, "Sure." So I wrote it up, and they posted.
Tell us what the feedback's been.
Sure. It's been really, actually, it's been the personal feedback that's been so great. Other immigrants have reached out and wanted to talk and wanted to connect, and that's been the greatest part.
Have you ever wondered what life would be had you not made it to America? Had you maybe not been found? I mean, obviously, if you survived and just stayed in South Korea, you ever wonder what life would be like?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Especially every year on my birthday, but all the time when I was growing up, because had I been fortunate enough to survive, chances are I would not have been educated. There were many, many girls at that time where as soon as you're old enough to leave the orphanage, you are living on the streets. And so there's a good chance I either would have been homeless or become a prostitute. Wow. Because it's just
that's what happens to orphans there.
Yeah. And there were so many children in needs of homes and families that it's not as though there wasn't a system set up to help all these kids. And at the time, all these kids couldn't enroll in school. So there'd be a very good chance that I wouldn't have received any education.
Have you ever tried to, because a lot of adopted children, when they grow up, try to go back and find their birth mother or biological father? Have you ever thought about that, or have you ever tried?
I have, because I would like to go back and see if I can find any family members.
Right. Thank you. Mary Green, is there anywhere, can anyone still, I guess, go on People Magazine somewhere and read your article?
It is available. If you Google People Magazine Coming to America or Mary Green, the story should come up.
That's wonderful. Thank you again. I really appreciate it. All the best. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Take care.
Take care.
All right. That was shaved Brad versus unshaven Brad. I was just looking at myself. I said, maybe I should go back to shaved Brad.
I'm always team scruffy Brad.
You're team scruffy. Yo-Yo's always scruffy. Because you're scruffy Yo-Yo. I don't hear Yo-Yo. We hear you now, Yo-Yo. There we go.
You don't hear me?
Now I hear you.
Yes. Leave it.
You're scruffy,
I say leave it.
Scruffy Yo-Yo. All right. 2-0 for Scruffy Brad. Let's go. Julian's like, come on, we're getting out of here already. It's after 8 o'clock. We're doing speed round. He doesn't even let me talk anymore, this Julian. We're going right to speed round, right to the next thing. All right.
Julian, this is how we want you, Brad.
What?
It's not called speed for nothing.
That's right. We're speeding right to it. All right. I'm going to answer 9 questions in 50 seconds or blow myself up.
All right.
I'm like Kenny from South Park, they say. I come back every day anyway. All right, you ready? Let's go.
Can a religious worker apply for TPS?
Sure.
Can I travel on a green card renewal extension?
Of course you can, as long as you have the extension notice.
Can an Uber driver qualify as an essential worker?
Not at the moment. There is no essential worker.
Do I have to be vaccinated to be eligible for Haitian TPS?
No.
Can I file for Form I-485 for AOS?
Yes, that's the form.
Is USCIS still processing VAWA cases filed before it expired?
Yes.
How long can a U.S. citizen stay out of the country?
Forever.
How long does VAWA approval take?
Over 2 years.
What form do I file if I want to visit the U.S.?
You have to go online and schedule a visitor's visa appointment.
Go. There you go.
This is the armless dance. I'm just dancing shoulder dance. All right, we did it. Go back though. I learned my lesson.
Thank you.
I learned my lesson. We'll go back and, if you want, it depends what country you're from.
Would you like to extend the answer now, Bradford?
Yes, I would like to expand on the answer. It's visitor's visa. You have to file a DS non-immigrant visa application if you are in a non-ESTA country. If you're in an ESTA country, you go online to the ESTA website and you just fill out the ESTA. So it depends on where you are from. And then there was another question about, what was it? Where I just shrugged my shoulders. I'm like, what kind of question is that? Go back and quickly, what were they all?
I'll say it real quick. Can a religious worker apply for TPS?
Next.
Can I travel on a green card renewal extension?
No, next.
The Uber driver as an essential worker?
Yes, that was the Uber driver as an essential worker. That question is related to, there's an essential worker law that is being debated in Congress to give an amnesty to essential workers. So why I shrugged my shoulder is, we have no idea because it's not even a law yet, and people already wanted to know if they qualify or not. Let's see if there's an actual law that passes, and then we'll determine who qualifies and who doesn't.
There you go.
All right, that's why I'm like, come on, man, we don't know yet. Uber driver, but I don't think the Uber driver is going to be the essential worker, because if the Uber driver is the essential worker, all of a sudden you're going to see 10 million immigrants be driving around Toyota Highlanders, picking people up. we're going to have more Uber drivers than anybody in the history of the world. There's going to be a glut of Uber drivers. So I don't think that they're going to be the essential worker. All right. Comments of the day.
All right. First comment of the day comes from Pretty Chef Ferreira saying, "Squad up, good evening. My notification is always on and I'm present for class."
Oh, very good.
Always ready.
Smart. It's a smart one.
Okay, next one is from Abiradun Jimo saying, "The only immigration show that puts you on the edge through news and entertainment with a spice of humor when it is Brad's show live time is a time of fun."
Very well said. I like that. I like that. Yes.
That was nice. That was nice. And our third comment of the day comes from the beautiful Lisa Bling Rose saying, "Uncle Brad talks the truth and nothing but the truth. So sit back and relax."
Yes, I agree.
Okay, and our last comment today, Sarah Cam saying, "Brad, you are doing the best job. Lots of best wishes for you."
Oh, very nice. And by the way, when Yo-Yo, I don't know if you agree with this or not, but when Vanessa was celebrating and dancing us beating the bomb in the 50-second 9-question speed round, for a second when she was dancing, I pictured her as being one of the hype dancers at your bar mitzvah this weekend.
I'm telling you.
I think she could do it. She could be one of those hype dancers, right?
And
easily.
What do they call it? The energy. What do they call the dancers? Just the hype. I don't know. Just dancers. They're dancers there to get all the kids hyped up, right?
Easily.
Yeah. What?
She could easily get it done.
Yes, easily get it done. There you
So
are.
about mitzvah, you.
That's right. Nesquik,
you are
boss lady.
Nesquik.
I thought you were going to say, "Listen, I run the company. I don't dance. I'm the boss."
Or that's Fortune 500
That's
coming
right.
right up.
That's right. All right, everybody. Well, by the way, tomorrow is Pop-Up Friday. By the way, we don't even know when we're popping up. We're going to discuss it after the show. So that means you don't know when we're popping up, which means you better subscribe to YouTube and Facebook because we're not going to be at our regular time tomorrow. Pop-Up Friday. See you tomorrow. So, Sam, as part of the production, we have to say this disclaimer at the end of the show. Do you mind reading it for me?
Okay, but you know, Brad, I have to do everything around here. It's bad enough I've got to remember everything that happened on the episode from the previous day.
Forget it. I'll do it. The proceeding was and not specific legal advice. Consult an attorney about your individual situation. Prior successful results do not guarantee a similar outcome in the future. To make an appointment with the Spar and Bernstein law firm located at 225 Broadway in New York City, call 1-800-529-5465. That's 1-800-529-5465. Easy to remember, 1-800-LAW-LINK. That's 1-800-LAWLINK. Once again, make a call to 1-800-529-5465. And of course, link up with the law offices of Spar and Bernstein, located at 225 Broadway on the 5th floor. If I were you out there, make the call, make the link, make the connection, make it Spar and Bernstein. 1-800-LAWLINK. That's 1-800-529-5465. And now, conveniently located in Hartford, Connecticut on 1 Congress Street. Visit us in Connecticut or in New York at 225 Broadway. That's 1-800-529-5465. 1-800-LAW-LINK. 1-800-529-5465. What are you doing?